Good evening. It is 6 o'clock and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is to nominate a board chair. I'd like to open the floor for any nominations.
I'll nominate Eric.
Okay. All right. Do we have any other nominations? Any discussion? All in favor of Eric, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, congratulations, Eric. I'm now going to turn the meeting over to you.
Thanks. Everyone was pretty quiet. Thank you. The first thing I want to start off and say is just really quickly, just thank all of our taxpayers, our voters, to coming out and approving the budget. And just a quick note, the amount the budget passed has far exceeded previous years, which I think is pretty significant. And then also to congratulate Amanda and Kaylee Fowler for their elections and re-election. So, and with that being said, I'll open up the floor for nominations for vice chair. Amanda?
I'll nominate Meredith.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor for Meredith as vice chair, please say aye.
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 That is unanimous. Congratulations, Meredith. And I will open up nominations for board clerk.
I'll nominate Amanda.
Any other nominations for board clerk? Now you turn on your camera. No other nominations. All those in favor for Amanda as clerk, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Congratulations, Amanda. Continuing on, for GRCSU voting members. So I think currently it was, or previously myself, Meredith, and George, and Amanda was our alternate for the GRCSU board. And in case you're not aware, we send 3 representatives to the SU, which is a whole other board. So if nobody wanted to make any suggested changes or anyone wanted to step up for the SU board, we can keep the same members for the SU board. Or Amanda?
I was just wondering, when it comes to alternates, can we request that the alternate receive the materials throughout the year? It's just hard, like when I fill in for somebody and if I wasn't able to attend the meeting, or I don't really know what's going on, when I get the materials a couple days beforehand and I don't know what's happened previously. So I didn't know if it was possible for us to request from the SU to have the alternate receive the materials for the whole time.
So like if you were asked to come in and be an alternate, like at the last minute, you would have already had is that what you mean?
Right. And not even like just if you're an alternate, but if all of the voting members are at a January meeting and then I need to fill in March, but I don't know what happened in January and I wasn't able to attend in February, then even when I get the materials a couple days ahead of time in March, I don't know what's going on. But if I was receiving the materials throughout the year, I could at least review and keep up and know what's going on. It's also hard, like when you're listening in, if you're not, especially around budget time, like I filled in at budget time and they were referring to documents from previous meetings that I didn't have.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's something that can be reasonably done. It's we assign just one alternate to the SU board. I'm not sure. I don't think that would be an issue other than executive session materials. They wouldn't be shared outside of executive session beforehand.
The alternate would just need access to the drive.
Does that answer your question? I think that would be reasonable.
Yeah, I just think it would be helpful if we could request that just so we could keep up throughout the year, not just for the meeting that we're filling in for.
All right. So with that in mind, everyone's okay with the same GRCSU members and as alternates. Would someone like to make that a motion? Any other further discussion on our SU delegates? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Eric, could you just restate who those three members were? I'm just taking notes. I just want to make sure it's have it accurate for the record, please.
Yes, myself, Meredith, George, and Amanda is the alternate.
Thank you.
Okay. Set regular meeting schedule. We meet on the second Wednesday every month. However, I wanted to ask the board of potentially changing the meeting date. And the reason why is because there's a vacancy for a Rutland regional representative to the VSBA board. And I was considering applying for it, but they meet the second Wednesday of the month. And so I did ask consideration, like change your meetings, but no. So and I did mention this to Chris a while back about potentially, and so I know that there's limited flexibility because the SU board meets the first week and then all the member district boards meet the second week. And we arranged this a while back. So that way we didn't, it was just all these board meetings were so, but there is availability on the second Monday. So, that's what I'm asking. I don't know.
Mondays are better for me, actually. So if that works for everybody else.
That would work for me also.
And I will say, that,
We run into holiday issues though.
Yeah, that's
We
what
have
I was thinking.
3-day weekend type. Just.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm fine with it.
yeah. Let's see,
I don't know with the school calendar, if that's really an issue or not.
Easter Monday.
We have Girl Scouts in here.
On Mondays.
On Mondays. It's not every Monday, And it's not the second Monday. I think it's the third Monday.
There were 2 week strips from there.
Yeah, actually, there's May 4th, May 18th. I could reroute them. Relocate them,
What time are they?
5 p.m.
They start that late, okay.
yeah, I don't, there's Columbus Day, Labor Day, those are all Mondays.
Yeah.
Is that, well, those are,
But are they second Mondays?
I know, that's what.
Yeah.
oh, one of them's not. One of them is. Is that, I'm just wondering, Chris, is that why that Monday was always first? Because of the potential holidays or, second Monday or?
Maybe that, and also I think people just try to avoid Mondays. So I know when Christine, she has ran a mock schedule with that Wells Beyond Second Monday and didn't see too many conflicts with holidays. But if there are other conflicts, we didn't take that in consideration. School based. It was more just we were looking at holidays, and if there, we did that for all the boards, just to see if there are any conflicts. We need to rearrange, but we've done that in the past where we have a scheduled meeting and it falls on a holiday or close to a break, and the month or two beforehand they just have rescheduled.
Okay.
So.
So I think if the second Monday works for the board, and I would say it would have to work for everyone, because if it didn't, then I guess,
It looks pretty good.
yeah. It's unfortunate Sue's not here, because I'd really like to know what she
It's
thinks.
Easter Monday.
Um,
Nothing else that I see for this. That's the calendar here.
October might be an issue.
Amanda?
I'm not opposed to the second Mondays. Just something else that maybe we should think about would be our MailChimp that we're sending out. We've been sending it a day or two before our meeting to keep meeting links and information fresh for people. So we would have to decide if we're sending it on a weekend or sending it on Friday and hoping it doesn't get lost over people's weekend. Not that that's a reason to not do it, just something that we should think about while we're doing this.
Yeah, I think that's something that we can easily figure out later. Okay. So if no one's opposed to changing the meeting date, and that's a pretty big ask, we've consistently met for quite a while now. And does that work for you?
It should, yeah.
Sure. Then I would say we need to, I guess, put a motion to it. To set our meeting schedule date to the second Monday.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion by George. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Okay, set date of annual board retreat. This is something usually we have postponed. Maybe we should probably do the same. And set it on our agenda to discuss this. Does anyone object to that? Annual meeting is set in place. Firm use of Robert's rules for small boards, which we've done every year. And again, we'll need a motion for all these. So. Anyone need a copy of the Robert's rules for small boards? It might be on the drive somewhere. It's just
You have copies?
I don't have copies.
Oh, it's good.
I probably do buried in that somewhere.
Like you would do school board members get the whole packet from. They have it.
Yeah, it's a whole resource drive.
Yes, I just
Yeah,
figured that out.
So-
There's a lot.
that's some homework.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so,
Me too.
so any discussion on Robert's rules for small boards? All right, we'll take a motion to affirm the use of Robert's rules for small boards.
Make that motion.
Okay, motion by George. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries unanimously. Review and accept the SBA Code of Ethics. You have copies here for everyone to sign. But we still have always at the board level with the motion as well. I'll move we accept the VSBA Code of Ethics. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Review and adopt board operating protocols. This was in the drive. I was looking at this and I'm wondering, there were some changes that I think that we might want to consider making. And I know it kind of became a document you look at it once a year or whatever, but I'm wondering if the board would be in favor of setting this as putting this on the agenda at a future meeting to discuss this and look at, potentially making some changes. One being the language and two of them that I noticed without getting into specifics, but if not, we can just adopt them as is, but I think we should probably have, in my opinion, a further conversation about it.
Sure.
Okay, identify locations where agendas and minutes will be posted. So that's schools, central office, the schools, and town office, correct?
Yes.
Confirm choice of attorney. Chris, are we going to be able to still use our current attorney?
Yes, that's our recommendation to work with Chris Leopold. And then I know I had a conversation with Chris, and I think Chris will be looking to potentially transition in the next year or so. And I think, talking with the boards about what that transition plan may look like.
Okay, great. I just want to confirm that before I throw the name out. All right, I'll move that we affirm our choice of attorney as Chris Leopold. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries unanimously. Identify media sources.
I'm sorry, we did discuss the annual meeting?
Yeah, it's set in date by our articles of agreement.
Is the actual, so, because we talked about moving it back.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So,
I must have been
yeah,
looking at my calendar.
yeah, sorry, I did kind of glaze over it. In order, I believe, to change that, we'd have to amend our articles of agreement. Which
Okay.
that article, I believe we can, I would have to. It's only articles that were voted by the electorate that are binding. So.
Oh, we might have to change it at the annual meeting.
No, we could do it at any regular board.
Oh,
So if that's something that you're interested in doing, we could put it on a future agenda.
I think we should because we talked about it.
Okay.
Earlier falls into our break as well.
Yeah, there was a couple of issues, but
Right.
back at, yeah. let's-
So we'll do that. I don't have an issue with it. Identify
So
media
Eric-
source. Yeah,
Eric, on the document, would you like me then to put TBD or keep February 24th? Right now, you did make a motion to approve that date. Will that just be something that we'll have to address that motion at a later meeting?
well, we didn't do a motion on this, because it is just kind of, Yeah, I just kind of glazed over it.
It's-
Because it's just knowing
So-
that it's,
Put TBD on there then?
yes, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, I just made a note to put it on a future agenda, so,
Right, I just don't want to put February 24th on this document and have it, go out with the minutes.
okay, yep.
I'd rather put, okay, thank you.
Identify media sources. So we have the Free Press. And I'm wondering if we, because the Free Press is just online now. And I did see our warning in it back in, I think it was February maybe, for our annual meeting. But we can keep that the same. Unless anyone has any other suggestions or suggestions to another source. And we discussed the Rutland Herald before. I think it's the reach. I don't know.
Cost.
Okay. All right, so we have the Free Press.
Account from Porch Farm.
No, I don't think that counts. It's like a media source. I could be wrong. I think it's newspapers and pretty much newspaper would be your media source. I'm just wondering if we should add, if we ever wanted to post alternatively in the Rutland Herald, we can just do that in any regular meeting, I guess. So, okay, so we'll just identify, unless anyone has any objection, of the Free Press as our media source. And put that into a motion as well with,
I'll make that motion.
okay. All right. All those in favor of the Free Press as our media source, please say aye.
Hi.
Motion carries unanimously. Authorize the administration to request and expend available grant funds from the Agency of Education as well as state, federal funds. We do this, why are you laughing? We do this every year. Is there any questions on this first? All right, so I'll move to authorize the administration to request and expend available grant funds from the Agency of Education as well as state and federal funds. No other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Authorize the board to borrow funds for pending receipt of payments from state education fund. Authorize the board chair. Oh, that's the second one. Okay. Same things. Any questions on borrowing funds? And we do this every year. Just, I think, ends up being what tax anticipation notice that we do every year. Okay, so we'll need to take action on this as well.
I'll make the motion.
By Meredith. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. And to authorize the board chair to sign director's orders and other documents on behalf of the board as necessary. Any discussion or questions?
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 It's unanimous. Okay, on to committee assignments, facility committee. So currently we have two, George and Mary. Did anyone want to, any changes to the facility? You guys content?
Yep.
Sounds good. I did have a question though, on the facility committee. And it was just like a board discussion on this. And I was just curious if, because, of the amount of, I guess, work that needs to be done on the buildings, if, and then having it on the agenda, more often than not, do we even need the committee anymore if it's coming to the board for engagement? It's just more of like a curiosity question if the board wants to keep the facility committee or.
We've tried to set up, well, it's already set up, but the facilities director and the principals have a weekly meeting at this point. Mary and I would be happy to help in any way, to bring items to the attention of the board. There's a section in each of their building reports, the principal's report, that highlights these areas. The other area of note is the 5-year plan for each building. I'm not saying we couldn't be dissolved, but I don't want you guys to think that, you don't have the board's help on a more immediate basis if needed. So we have a meeting scheduled for June at this point, and maybe we can relook at it then.
Yeah, I think if those meetings are helpful to you, I would be in support of continuing.
And we're also trying to get together records, warranties,
Okay.
manuals, things like that. And I think Ernie and Jess and Carol may need our help. I'm planning on going down just to take a look at the file of all our stuff down, and it's mostly in Wells, just to try to get an idea of what the scope of getting this organized in and digitized, so that we've got that all ready at hand. When was this service? What's the warranty on the boiler? What's, simple questions like that are going to help us stay ahead of the game. So I said at our meeting, I'd like to put our best foot forward about what happens with, what's going on in the state, but to have well-working, viable buildings
Okay.
for someone that are more attractive to keep open. So I think short-term, the answer to your question is no, but in the future, yeah, if it's addressed on a monthly basis, so much the better. Hopefully we're ahead of the game on everything, so it's, we don't have critical items coming.
So it sounds like there's a lot more work there.
Right now, short term, yeah, I think we need to stay together.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think
Okay.
those are the long time issues that we're finally addressing.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And that just kind of validates why I asked too, because, if you remember back in 2019 or whatever, when we first were on the committee, it was because there really wasn't a lot of information. We didn't have a
Right.
facility director, and it was just mainly, there was no charge. It was just, we should have a facility committee, and it was just mainly just kind of getting information from the administrators at the time and the superintendent at the time. But it sounds like because of the needs of the buildings, it's a lot more in depth than it was before. So, okay.
And I mean, also Jess and Carol have done a really good job of making a format to organize this. And would you guys be comfortable, just talking about that at the next board meeting? Just here's what you've done. I mean, it's really a great first step forward.
Okay.
So,
All right. No, I'll move that we assign George and Mary to the facility committee. And any further discussion on this? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 No, I'm good. No, sorry.
Carries unanimously. Okay, hiring committee. Who's on this last year? Is it?
I think I was.
I was there. Okay.
Am I the only one? Oh,
And there's an alternate. I think George was the alternate.
Yes.
Um,
happy to do either again.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want to be on the hiring committee?
no one else wants it.
What does it entail?
Interviews?
Yeah, sitting in on his reviews and. So it would be like spring, mostly,
Mhm.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not something you're terribly
I
interested
think
in,
it might be a good way for you to do a little something,
Yeah.
but not too.
yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
If that's something you're not
Yeah, I'm
overly
okay
interested
with
in,
it.
I'm happy to.
Okay.
George, you gonna keep the alternate?
Yes.
Okay. I could be the alternate. Sometimes these things come up, they're
Yeah.
not always at the end of the day, they can be, yeah, it's scheduling is a challenge.
So my only part would be if they're during the work day.
Yeah,
Which
that's,
is,
would
which is,
be a problem.
yeah, which would be, reading that I work in a school as well. That might be
Yeah.
like the only challenge I would have.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done this, so.
A lot of times we do them after school, so teachers can be on them too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think they're pretty flexible.
Okay, yeah.
Good deal. Okay, so who wants to make? an
And they're
option?
not like every.
Right, it's a
That's
pretty
why-
sporadic, yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mary. All those in favor of assigning Kaylee and George as an
Aye.
alternate, please say aye.
I-
All right. Motion carries unanimously. Finance. How'd that get on there? Thought that was
Last year,
that on there last year?
we discussed it.
Come up in discussions, but I
Yeah.
kind of thought we did.
I mean, it
That's
might be
right.
worth a discussion again, being that
Sure.
we're talking about consolidation in April. Might be that there's additional work coming with that.
That's actually, I think we did discuss it. It's coming back to me. I think we discussed it and in terms of what would the finance committee would do. I think we decided not to have a finance committee if I remember. So I don't know. I kind of think that's just like a carryover maybe. But it's on here for discussion if anyone has any other opinions.
Let's discuss until like April.
Yeah, and I think we did discuss it.
I know we didn't come up with one, so.
So it probably remains the fact that we didn't have a finance committee, then it's not necessary. But if I remember, there was a lot of discussion around, what exactly would we, would it be like the monthly financials? Would it be, and, we get the warrants every 2 weeks and board members can look at them. If they have any questions, they can reach out to business manager. And I believe was the extent of the conversation.
Yeah, I think it is.
And then in addition to that, the warrants that, we get in our packets, and then also that we get sent out. Anyone can, review those. And if you had a question about, any particular invoice in there, you can always ask about it. Am I correct on that, Chris? That seems to be the practice that we've been.
Yes, Eric, but I do believe in looking at this form, the finance committee is actually a holdover from an old GRCSU committee. It's not local. It's more in terms of if the SU would decide to start that committee up again, that we'd have representatives that we'd have from each district. I know that Rutland Town last night just appointed two, just in case there was a finance committee that needed to meet for any purpose or reason.
Okay.
So, because these are number 14 as we move into GRCSU subcommittee representatives.
Okay,
And the finance is it's a part of that, so.
all right,
Wrong, under the wrong number.
all right. Yeah, that makes some sense.
And Eric, I'm trying to go through my notes. Did we do the community engagement committee?
No, We-
Okay,
no, because we don't have, so we removed the communication. Oh, the communication, but for the GRCSU, no, we haven't done that yet. I wonder if we're gonna discuss that at the SU meeting, correct?
That was going to be my question too. Because I had thought I remembered at the last SU meeting, they suggested local boards sending people to the communication committee on an SU level. So I didn't know if I noticed it wasn't included. I was going to ask when we got to that, but since we're here, I know our community engagement committee we dissolved last year because we started doing everything as a board, as a whole. But I don't know on the SU level if we should assign 1 or 2 people or not.
Okay, well, let's handle the finance committee first. So, as an SU finance committee, who would want to be on that potentially if there was a finance committee? I mean,
I can do that if nobody else is interested.
We've never had one, but
no.
um,
And you don't have to appoint tonight, Eric. The board can make a decision to appoint as needed if the board would wish.
fine with that too. Okay, so seeing as how nobody's really jumping out of their chairs for the finance committee, well,
Amanda, did you just volunteer?
If we need to do it and you need a person, but if it's kind of like a mute thing, I'm fine with whatever. I was just saying something if we needed to fill in a line.
You want to be approved now?
So, and George, I don't necessarily know what the SU Finance Committee, like I said, we haven't had one in 5 years. And so if Amanda's hesitant, I think we might want to hold off just to have a better understanding of what that committee is and what the expectations are for in terms of time commitments and things along those lines. So Amanda doesn't get roped into something where she can't fully commit to it because of what it is. So like I said, it's
Okay. Okay.
I'm good with that. I think we wait and see if the SU even needs one. And then if so, because like if it is something during the day when I'm at work, I can't commit to that. So
sounds good to me. Okay, GRCSU subcommittee representatives, negotiations. So we'll have to start negotiations next fall, correct? Again, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So
yes,
currently,
for both sports staff and teachers.
yep. Currently, it's myself, Meredith, and George on the negotiations committee. Unless somebody else wants to. That's fine. It's okay. Don't have to be on every committee.
You talking to yourself, Joe?
No.
do we have to answer this tonight? The only reason I ask is I think last year, and I know Sue's not here tonight, but I know last year she had kind of asked about it. I don't know if maybe we should put this off until April and see if she's with us in April to see if she's interested, or if it has to be answered tonight, then we continue. I don't know
Well,
what's required, but
we can always change it. I think if if the folks who are on the committee now are willing to do it,
Yeah, I'm comfortable
Um,
continuing.
then if she wanted to bring it up later, again, she's not here. I hope everything's okay, but I haven't heard from her. But if that was something that she really wanted to be on, we'd always bring it up later, because again, we're not doing it until the fall. And it's we're doing reorganization. We might as well just assign the committee members now. So
And there's no rules about changing committee members like mid-term. We can just make a motion and change them at any time if she decides she wants or whatever.
oh yeah. Yeah, at any point in time, even if someone was on a committee and they said, well, I can't make those meetings anymore, then that would probably be the best thing to do, would be to get someone to step in. So, okay, so myself, Meredith, and George as negotiations committee, I'll move that we assign those three as representatives for the negotiations. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Motion carries unanimously. Policy committee. I will say the policy committee doesn't meet very often, since we did a completion of our policy review, but there is work for the policy committee to do. I've been on the policy committee. I'd like to stay on the policy committee, and if anyone else would like to fill that second
Are
role.
they still meeting early?
I don't know. It really depends on the group of people who are on there.
Been on the policy committee. I don't think we've had a meeting since I've been appointed on the policy committee. I know that.
The last committee meeting that we had, I think a month ago, we didn't have a quorum.
Yeah.
But I think it was like terrible weather or something too. It was just a weird day.
Yeah.
It was.
So I mean, I can do policy, but if you're interested, I would be fine with either being an alternate or just having you stuff on.
If you can commit to early meetings, it might be better. I was on before, but the meeting switched to like 4 and 5 o'clock. And so it didn't work anymore when they started meeting early. So if you can meet early and that's their schedule, go for it, Mary, and I'll just fill in if you need and I'm available.
Yeah, there's an alternate. You want to be the alternate?
Sure.
So myself, Mary, and Amanda as alternate. Any further discussion? Okay. I'll assign myself, Mary, and Amanda. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, that's. All right. Please, reorganization.
Should we
Oh,
should we assign people for communication just in case the board decides that?
That's a good question. So for the GRCSU communication committee.
Like, I'm already doing that, so I don't mind being one of the people, but if somebody else wants to join,
Okay. Chris, did any of did Rutland Town do anything with assign anyone to the communication committee, or? Because,
They did not.
yeah.
And I know that'll be discussion at Quarry Valley too. There are different opinions. Some members, that's bubbled into the SU conversation that you're all aware of.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird because it's an SU committee, but there wasn't anyone who really wanted to be on the communication committee, just a few people. And so it was suggested that reach out to local boards, and so Amanda stepped up. But I think rather than doing something different than the other member districts, we just wait to see what the GRCSU does.
Yeah.
Once the GRCSU decides, what they want to do with the committee in terms of appointment for membership, I think we'll go from there. Yeah. Any thoughts on that? Any objections? I mean, I'd love to appoint you now, but
No, I didn't mean like that. I just meant, to get that involvement. So it's not Rutland Town and One Wells Springs. If I was under the impression that all of the boards were doing that at reorganization, so I misunderstood something.
yeah. Yeah, it's weird because this committee, it's not really a standing committee, so I think it has, whenever the SU board decides it's, no longer useful. And I don't even know what, how that conversation is going to go. So
I don't know if they'll continue at the SU level, but I think with everything going on with Act 73, I think there could be a real need to keep that committee going. And you'll be first in line.
You'll be second, George.
Okay.
okay. All right. So now we'll look to the agenda. So we need to add professional staff to under personnel. Is an amendment to the agenda. Other than that, with that change, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda. By Mary. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. On to general public comment. Anyone online wish to speak tonight? Okay, hearing none. On to the consent agenda. So we have the minutes, warrants, and the professional staff. Amanda?
I had a question on the warrants. I got some information earlier, as you know, from Christine, but the control tech, there's just a lot of control tech invoices, and one of them, for example, the one for 804.71. If I look at the invoice that was provided, I just don't really understand it. It's like the hourly rate was $132.50, and then we did that 4 times, which was $530, but then the subtotal's $804.71. I couldn't quite, the math wasn't mathing for me.
Which warrant are you looking at?
Oh, sorry. I took screenshots and highlighted my notes, so I have to go back and find the top of that warrant with the number. It has 5 control tech charges on it, and looks like it is warrant
445.
Yeah, 445. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, that's the right one. But then, upon reaching out to Christine and then receiving the invoice, it says $132.50 an hour for 4 hours, which is $530. And then the total is still $804.71. And then I didn't get copies of the other invoices, but I thought we were paying for service contracts. So then there's all these labor rates. I thought it was explained before that the charges we were paying were for parts, not labor, because we're already paying them to come work, I thought. I'm just confused on those.
You want me to
If you-
answer that?
If you
Yeah,
have
so
an answer.
what the quarterly thing that we are paying for is preventative maintenance. That's PM. And anytime they come in for preventative maintenance, there's an issue. Anytime the boiler goes down, that's who we call. Anytime they come, they charge. I try my best. Carol tries her best to work around things, but that is, that's what you're seeing there.
And that's for both schools?
Usually says WVS or MSES.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the other, like the monitoring was like $3,800 on that one too. Like if they're finding problems when we have them come anyway, do we need to pay for preventative maintenance and just have them come every now and then? Because
And so that's a really good point, Amanda. And that's kind of what I've been trying to figure out these last couple of months. And what I'm finding is, yes, sadly, we do need it, just because our systems are so old. I fear if we do take away the preventative maintenance, what that will look like if they do come when something major happens.
And then why is the like the monitoring for Middletown Springs is 3,800, but for Wells it's 450, but it seems like when they come, they're still charging anyway at either place. Have they explained why it's thousands more between schools?
Yes, our systems are very different. Our system was updated a few years ago, but only halfway. And so our system is completely different than the Wells system.
So if we were to update the system at Middletown, then we potentially wouldn't need this $4,000 preventative maintenance plan because we would have an up-to-date system and then not be paying. I mean, that's like another $4,000 just in services on top of that 3,800 just for 1 month.
But
I don't
we have, I don't know, I mean, I think this conversation is starting to encroach into like facility.
Sorry.
I don't know, but that's fine. That's fine. So maybe,
But also like the invoice doesn't total up. Like it says $132.50 an hour for 4 hours and it says $530 and then it says subtotal $804.71. That doesn't equal $804.71.
yeah, and that's just how they bill.
They just don't math right. Like $132.50
Well,
isn't 804.
Well, so, and I've requested more information, but I've seen other bills from like other plumbers and electricians and it's itemized, like every $5 part is itemized and it comes to a total. And I'll just say, in terms of, you know, the warrants and stuff, there was one for like $5,000 flat. Like, and so I looked at it and it was just replaced hot water heater and that was it. And I said, well, is there an itemized bill? And no, they're, you know, so that's just how they do it. What you see on the warrants or on the invoices, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if they provide a quote, I think the quotes are more itemized. I don't know.
And this is for October service, October 28th and October 30th. And it's a total of 4 hours at $132.50 an hour. And it says $530, but then there's nothing else listed. And then it says subtotal $804.71.
So Amanda, if you would like, I know Lewis is not here this week, but
Sorry.
for April's board meeting, I can sit down with Lewis and Jessica and Carol and have that information for the board. If you like, and Lewis during his portion of the meeting could discuss this and provide a little more information about this. If you don't mind. And like, if they have any itemized invoices to explain where that extra $300 came from, it's just confusing where we keep throwing them money. No, I understand. I think this is been a concern in other schools as well, control tech. And I think that there's a conversation around contracts and what next steps should be as a district.
Okay.
Monday.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, if I may, you know, having the contract with them sort of gets you ahead in the queue of required work. To not have a contract and just start calling out for individual things may end up actually costing more. But I will say that we had a facilities committee meeting prior to this one. One of the tasks we're having is just to collect all of our contracts, warranties, manuals, things like that, get them in one place and really look at them and see what we do get and what we don't get.
Yeah, I don't really have as much of a problem with the contract as I do with the math not mathing. Like they don't add up. And when we've looked in the past, I've noticed the same thing. Like the subtotal says something, there's nothing else listed, and then the total's hundreds more.
But Amanda, potentially the additional, and I don't know specifically to that one, but it's parts. they're only listing out labor, but if there are parts involved, that could be where part of the other money is coming from. And we can look into it. We certainly will.
Maybe we need to have them itemize everything
And we have
better.
asked.
And so that's why I'm working really closely now. We're on a first name basis and his notes in the next, which you'll see for March are very, very detailed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and so what I think if we can have that information for April, that'll be a lot more helpful too. So,
And do they bill us quarterly?
Yes.
Because like this stuff is from October, so they must do quarterly billing.
all right, any other questions on the consent agenda?
I was gonna ask why we're getting credits for food, but I don't know that it's necessary.
Oh,
The food service has some credits in it. They're probably just errors, I guess, in charging or something like that.
I've seen those before too, and I think,
I mean, they're on the same day,
yeah,
like one of this here.
oh,
Here.
I've never seen ones that big.
That's the biggest one. Then there's a
Yeah.
couple other smaller ones up
So
here.
no overcharge, we got that.
Yeah, and I think,
Oh, it's all on the same day. There's several credits on that.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of money we were just discussing, so.
but, I don't know, I've seen credits and I asked before a while back, and, sometimes they get overcharged and they get reimbursed.
I think that's something they didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Even like when it's small little things like that, not food, like
Yeah.
sometimes we'll place an order on Amazon and then it's a cheaper price at a later date or something like that. So I'm gonna ask Angela about it, but that's
Yeah, there's a $447 one for our Wells Village. That one's more sizable, but still, it's
we'll
that
look
for
more
food?
into that too.
it's
Yeah.
food services, so I don't know. Could be.
I wonder if we had some stuff recently. Carol might be able to give more information, but I think they sent us different food. Didn't the truck not come because of weather or whatever? And then they sent us
Yes.
different food. So maybe they gave us something that was cheaper.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And there were a couple of items that were missing that day and
It's all on the same
And
day.
if we have like a
Correct.
thing of oranges that fall onto the ground when they get off the truck, those things like that.
Yeah.
Get
So it's
credit.
just basically
Just,
reimbursed.
yeah,
Correct.
I just get excited because it's not money we spend.
Well, they're pretty good about it.
Yeah,
Over the
they are.
years, I've seen a lot of reimbursements, even down to like a few bucks.
Mhm.
So, okay. All right, so we'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole. The minutes, warrants, and personnel, professional staff, if there are no further questions.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by George. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carried unanimously. On to superintendent's report.
Thank you, Eric. I don't have a lot, as we know right now, with the legislature is in what's called crossover, began yesterday and will end on Friday. And that's typically just, it's the midpoint for bills to move from, either the House to the Senate or the Senate to the House. So I think next week we'll have a better understanding of which bills have made it out of the respective committees and with the House and the Senate, and have a better understanding about the lay of the land. So I put a couple items in the report for you that I would like to talk about at a later time. I know there's about the class size that will have a direct impact on Wells and Middletown Springs, and I know I've talked to Jessica and Carol about this already. But I think there'll be something which I would like to do a more formal presentation about class size, just so the community and the board can have a better understanding of not just next year, but the following 3 years, and what we need to be considering, taking a look at, and the impacts of these minimum sizes that have been established by the states that will go into effect. We do know that the data that will be collected will be for the 25-26 school year. That's more for the baseline for us, but the first real data collection will be after the 26-27 school year. So that will be year 1 of 3. And as I highlighted in my report, basically, if a school or a district is found to be out of compliance after 3 years, there are, certain I guess, avenues that the state could take. So, and we can talk about this more in detail. But I wanted to put that in there because I know there have been discussions around Act 73 and we always talk about consolidation in the maps and what's going to happen. And, there's still not a lot of clarity around what the future will hold that, but there are some items in Act 73 that are going to be moving forward that will impact the way we look at our schools and we look at our classrooms, particularly in Wells, and some of the things that we are going to have to be in compliance with. So, all right.
Any questions? The superintendent's report. I kind of had one. So I was reading through your report, and then when you had the AOE class size frequently asked question document, I read through this, and I don't know if it's kind of a question or just maybe a comment, but I understood that those minimum class size recommendations. Or the minimum class sizes, I thought it was just going to be like cut and dry and simple, but looking at this document, is it a little bit more complicated than for elementary? Just taking the average because it talks about SCED course codes and it's I don't know. I read through this and it seems a little bit more complicated than what I had anticipated. But if this is going to be like in your more formal presentation.
So Eric, yes, it's not. I mean, when you look at, we just see numbers. There are a lot of exceptions. There are a lot of things to take into consideration. So it's not just, we have to be at this number. I know that as I was talking with Corey Valor, I'll talk with Corey Valor tomorrow and in the future. High school is very complicated as we look at terminal courses and things on those lines. So what we would like to do is, in that presentation, whether it be in April or May, and Eric, you and I could talk about that, about when you feel it's important to bring for the board, because I do think it'll be part of a bigger discussion as well. But we will highlight some of these exceptions and what this means and what this looks like in each of our respective buildings along there. So we'll try to make it as easy to understand for the community as possible. So,
isn't there also some question as to the legislature still figuring out sparsity by necessity?
Yes.
Some of the definitions. So that's more applicable to our elementary schools.
Correct.
And they're very undefined right now.
Correct. And that's why, like I said, the conversation, needs to be had, but what that conversation is still, it's like a moving target because there are a lot of things that have yet to be resolved yet. So it's,
okay. Yeah, that kind of answers my question. I read through Act 73, it's not as simple as it appears, I guess.
No.
Okay, so if there's no other questions on the superintendent's report, we'll move on to the principal.
Thank you. Just with the practices, we have VitCat prep in grades 3 through 6. Teachers are prepping, giving students practice tests. Fastbridge is completed for the winter session, so is Sabres. And our EST team is checking in on the new intervention plans based off of Fastbridge scores. We are also creating lists of students who would benefit from tutoring this summer. Special education team is creating lists for ESY in preparation for parent conferences. We'd like those lists done by April. Our all-school cauldrons character trait for the month of March is perseverance, which is good timing. Marking period 3 progress reports went out last week. Our teachers here are still working on curriculum at a glance documents. We showed significant growth in Fastbridge in both ELA and math. We have for our water system for the physical plant. We are waiting for a second quote for the water pressure tank. Advanced Water came back, gave us a higher quote than they did a few months ago. So that's just something that we're dealing with. Control Tech, as you see, has been here quite often. I have completed the BAS training. I have a lot of training in HVAC now. We made a lot of adjustments on temperatures, which has actually helped the building tremendously. I make it part of my morning and afternoon routine to check all of the temperatures in all of the rooms and all of the hallways. I know how to make the adjustments. And the controller replacement is built into the preventative maintenance contract, which I'll get to in our challenges part. All of the other things that we are planning are still in the making for the next couple of months. For some happenings and celebrations, we do have Boys and Girls Club summer programming that was sent out to all families. It will be located at Proctor and West Rutland, 7:30 to 5 all summer long. The dates are June 29th to August 21st. And there's also a camp, which is June 29th to August 14th. Winter sports, week 6. That was this week. So we ended at Pico on March 9th with some spring skiing. And we all went ice skating today at Giorgetti, went for a little hike in the park. It was lovely. Students have no school on March 20th. That's when our teachers have professional development. FFE's last bingo for the year will be March 27th. And we have 6th grade basket raffle, March 28th, that Saturday. We also have our Scholastic Book Fair. That will be the first week of April during parent conferences. And then we have parent conferences April 2nd and 3rd. Challenges is the HVAC system. Just constant problems. There are existing controllers that are obsolete. On that PM contract, we only get 1 controller replacement a year. We've got 5 that need to be replaced. So that's kind of what I was talking about with getting the old system onto the new system. It's not simple, it's extensive, and it is not cheap at all. Something that I think would really help is the hot water system. We have a hot water pipe that goes into the boiler that is set at 180 degrees. It's not supposed to be that high at all times, so it makes the buildings really hot. And then things fluctuate, and then people are opening windows and things like that. So we're really getting a hold on that, but replacing that and the controller for the boiler, which I've talked with Control Tech, they're willing to work with us since we do have a contract with them to kind of add that into one of the controllers that has to be replaced just so that it's not so much money. So that's just something that we're working on, kind of getting the old building and the new building on the same zones.
I think you meant to say the camp is at Pulteney, not Proctor.
Pulteney, thank you. I appreciate
Because I
that.
was gonna ask you, the tutoring, is that going to happen at Pulteney, or where is that?
It's
GRCSU, right? Was that through the GRCSU?
Yes. So the Boys and Girls Club has tutoring, and then they also have camp.
Yeah, so it is at, yeah.
Yes. So the only information that I've received is just that those are the 2 places
Right.
that they will be.
Amanda?
Is it 5 controllers total in the building or 5 left to replace?
5 left to replace.
So there's 8 in the building?
I have to
I guess I
look
came
at
up with that number just assuming that they replace, like, because I think we've been with them 3 years, so I just assumed we got 3 new ones over the last.
Yeah, when I met with this sales associate, he did tell me how many controllers that have already been replaced. I can get that information when I get the itemized Control Tech bills for the next meeting.
Okay, thanks.
So could you really uncomplicated, short, explain what a controller is and what it does? Because I'm trying to picture, is it like a little
You're
electronic
testing
device?
me right now?
Yeah, we're looking at the learning.
So it's, okay, so in each ductwork, okay, you have a controller. I can't tell you exactly what it does. I'm not that good yet. And so you have like a motor that is attached to the controller and the controller, it tells different vents when to open, different dampening systems, what to do. It tells the little water pipe squiggly line how much water to heat up. So I know that's not a really great explanation, but it's like this like motor looking thing
Okay, no, that,
in each ductwork. And so I have a whole system on the computer where I can click on each room and I see the ductwork in each room. And once the controller is replaced, like for example, we just got a controller replaced for the special ed room and it has changed it dramatically.
okay, that helps.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I'm trying to picture like,
Like a thermostat.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You
yep,
know, because
yep.
it-
And so if you look at that white one,
Yeah.
those are the new ones. And so the old ones are on those old school dials. So
Okay.
I can show you afterwards if you like.
Sure. That'd be good, yeah. So, and then also I see it says dismissal has been restructured in order to assist in safer, more efficient. Could you elaborate a little?
Absolutely. This came when we kind of were, it was brought up like speed bumps in FFE. A couple of the parents just kind of brought up it just wasn't safe. And so I didn't really do much. I just put cones out. I kind of moved the line up and around. So when they come to pick up, they go in front of the school and they stop at this cone so that cars can still go around this way. And then I put cones out so that they can't cross over. So what was happening is people were crossing over to pass. So they can't do that. And I adjusted the pre-K dismissal time. So pre-K parents can come earlier and go into the parking lot. And I have another cone that says, please don't block the pre-K entrance so that they can go in and out. And then it flows and there are no longer any cars
On the
on the
road.
main road.
That was their problem.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's all. Traffic director too.
all right.
I think every new principal has had to do that here.
Yes.
And there was a time when that wasn't paved out there and it was
I
even more.
Can imagine.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
You had mentioned that this issue with the boiler and the controllers may have to pull some maintenance fees away from other projects that have been scheduled. Is that something we need to talk about with Lewis at some point? And I know he's not here tonight.
I think, yes. Yes. So I can reach out to him.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to mention that because. Thanks. Okay.
A lot of the dates that Jess talked about, we're doing exactly the same thing, so, and it is in my report. I just wanted to welcome Kaylee. I'd not met her before this evening, so happy to have her on board. An update from, we did get the radon results and we are in compliance now that the repairs were done and the levels are where they need to be. The testing just came back on the 9th. Like Jess said, we're preparing for cognia testing. We'll be doing some whole school celebrations to get started and throughout the process. And then in the end, our PTO is sponsoring this year. They're really looking to support us in doing field trips. So presently we have 2 field trips. One is a K-2, the other one is 3 to 6, but they're going to the Paramount. And then we're also doing a whole school trip to Vin's. We do have our yo-yo club with Mr. Montron that is meeting on Thursdays. And he's actually working with our older students and we're hoping that we're going to convince him that he's going to do a couple of just one-day events to kind of get some of the younger kids involved and interested too. We are starting Girls on the Run on Monday, and that will be Mondays and Thursdays with an I think the 5K is the end of May, actually. We're still doing math club on Tuesdays. And I think a couple of things that just to highlight, right before break, our staff got together and we talked about making connections with all of our kids and talked about how sometimes, there are certain students that we maybe don't connect with at the same level. So we created a list and I had all of the teachers choose. It ended up being more than 5, but we had hearts, and every day of that week, every student in the building got a personalized message from somebody on staff. And it just turned out to be a really kind of neat thing. One of the kids that sometimes struggles to make connections wrote me back a heart after I had written him one, and he doesn't normally do any writing and he didn't want any help with it. And so we are looking for ways to kind of continue those things happening. And then this afternoon, I got a letter from central office and I'm just going to read it. It says, it was written to Christine. We recently finished the voting round of the 2025 Best of the Lakes Region Reader Contest. Votes have been finalized. The reader voting contest was for all of Rutland County. In the community group favorite teacher category, our first grade teacher, Cindy Cassidy, was voted favorite teacher, and she will be celebrated on April the 16th in Fairhaven in the evening. I know, it's super excited. So that was kind of a fun surprise for us today.
Any questions? Carol?
Congratulations, Cindy.
And just a comment, thanks for the invitation. After our last board meeting, you invited us and it was really good to go in, and I wasn't expecting, to go into the classrooms. There was a lot I wasn't expecting.
It was more than an invitation, yes.
Listening to the kids read in kindergarten and then in first grade
Yes.
Was really, really impressive. And just a shout out to Carol and Cindy I don't know, it was a really good experience.
It really was. And I have to thank Matt Herring did join us as well. And it was really great. But you'll be invited to more.
Right. Thank you, Brian. So moving on to our old business facility committee. I guess I'll pass it under you, George. Seems like we've already talked about half the facility issues tonight.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, we did, just to mention in our meeting right prior to this, we are trying to gather and where we can digitize records. What contracts do we have? What warranties do we have? Any manuals on our systems? And we're trying to get information codified as to maintenance schedules. When does control tech come in on a regular basis? What gets cleaned on a regular basis? And then, of course, the other extraordinary visits as well, so that we have a handle on what's been done and what needs to be done. That'll be available to the principals and to Ernie, our facilities director. It should make life easier for him, for anyone else. And then if we do have to call in any outside help, they can take a look at our records right away and eliminate troubleshooting some things that they really don't need to be troubleshot. So we're trying to get better as we go on and stay ahead of things as well by constantly updating the 5-year plan. We don't like surprises.
Yeah, no. And I know there's a lot of issues. I know I noticed in Jessica's report, it talked about painting the front of the building here. But didn't we do that a few years back for like 20 or 30 grand?
It's been done.
Just half of it.
It was the half.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been completely done.
They removed like the rotten glass.
Also, the person who redid it this time is going to redo this side. And I don't know if you've ever painted, but it's all about the pre-work. And so he did a phenomenal job on that versus I'm not sure the time before that. But it's all flaking off. It shouldn't flake off like that in less than 10 years. But he did that, I think, 4 years ago.
You're talking about-
Yeah.
So that would be 3 summers ago.
3 summers ago. And so he's just gonna do the other front. We've also looked at grants to get the whole building painted. But it's a lot.
I believe he did some work on Wells where the old building meets the new building,
Yeah.
where water was coming off and there was some rot there. So, I mean,
Repaired part of the roof.
yeah, it's, so this is basically just repainting the whole front of that.
And also the wood rot. There's a lot of the sills underneath the windows
Okay.
that need to be replaced. So it's not just like painting.
Wow.
It's a
So
lot
it
of
sounds like
work.
pretty extensive work.
Yeah.
Because I know
There's a
that,
beehive in there too, so somewhere. It goes all the way up it's like bubble insulation. Is that what it's called?
Are they honeybees?
I don't know.
You don't know what kind
If it's bees that sting children.
Yeah.
I'd love to see us change over from wood.
so
It is historic, I get that, but
I just pointing that out. So in terms of like the facility component, like in the 5-year plan, is like that included? Like, because I don't even know what the cost is, just, and I'm just using that previous work as like a range. I mean, you don't have to look it up. I'm just,
No, I have it right here actually.
Okay.
And so I actually kind of organized it into high, medium, low, and kind of divvied it up throughout the years. So that front one is going to be about 20,000. And then, where is it? Here we go. So then the back side of the building is about 50,000. The north side of the building is 40,000. And then replacing the windows on the north and south side of the building is another 15,000. I question that number though. I feel like it would be a lot more. And again, the replacement of windows is gonna make the building more efficient in terms of heating.
those windows are those the original windows or something?
I don't know if they're original.
I know the ones out here were done.
storms were replaced
Yeah,
or put over them.
there were new, vinyl double
Yes.
or built,
Mhm.
energy efficient windows put in.
And so they do like in my office, there's like 2 new ones
Yeah.
and then like 3 gigantic old ones. So
Oh,
Because you
Even
drop
if-
ceiling too, right?
yes, yeah. And so even if that's great. And even if you're doing a new house, right? You do some of the windows, but not all of the windows. But if you don't eventually get it all done, it kind of defeats the purpose.
it just goes to show it.
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I know, no matter how well you paint
Yeah.
wooden exterior, the one thing
Yes.
you can count on is you're gonna have to paint it again. And
Okay.
again, and again.
Well, this is helpful just to kind of get a visual on the scope of, some of the money that's going to be spent on the building itself. And that's just one building. I can't even imagine, with Wells and, like looking at the potential boiler repair or replacement or whatever too. And, and I think, because George and I had talked, a couple weeks ago about, having the facility discussion on the agenda, just to, and if there's new information, if there's not, great. But just in terms of keeping up to par with, what's being done and what needs to be done, right? But I do think that, looking back at, when we first talked about the boiler replacement, it was like, well, there's a need for a boiler replacement, but there wasn't like a why, other than that it's just old.
Right.
you know, so I'm not sure if that's something that, you know, we can have information for on, like, what's the actual assessment of it, like, in terms of that boiler being inspected, like, you know,
It
there's,
could be parts are simply unavailable. I had
Correct.
that happen at our home
Yeah.
this year. Igniter, which is a, you know, $30-40 part, is no longer make them for this boiler we have, which was otherwise just fine. Had to
Yeah.
replace the entire one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not unusual.
yeah, so exactly. And so, you know, I think that, you know, it'd be good to know exactly what is, you know, because I know we looked at like even the circulators on there. The circulators are old and they're very unique for that system. I even talked to Ernie about it. He showed me like those things are gigantic, you know, for that system. But, you know, I just think that in terms of, well, replacing a boiler, to be doing our due diligence to know exactly why. This is why, you know, it's, you know, the firebox is bad, the pipes are corroded, like whatever the case may be. And there's something else I wanted to bring up too. And so several years ago, when we first started the facility committee, we talked about the fuel tank at Wells Village School. I don't know if Middletown Springs has an in-ground fuel tank or if it's inside or if it's underground. But I know Wells has a fuel tank underground. And I just recently had this issue with my fuel tank. It had to be inspected. So Vermont passed a law. And so now they're requiring these inspections. So I had to go through this whole process. And I have to replace my tank. And even replacing it, the one that's been there for 70 years, I have to go through all these new changes. And when I was talking to the inspector, he said, it's a good thing you don't have an in-ground fuel tank. He said, because those are going to be a lot more, he goes, the state's going to, you know, be looking at those. So anyway, I bring that up not to cause more trouble, but just to point out the fact that maybe this should be something on the radar because, you know, I believe that tank is 800 or 900 gallons in the ground. And that's going to be an extensive, not only cost, but removal as well, because there's EPA regulations and all that stuff. You know, yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. You know, even just looking at the furnace component to it, or the boiler, whatever you want to call it.
The tank inspection going to be annual?
The boiler for
The fuel tank.
fuel tank.
I don't know what they're
Yeah,
saying
I've heard
for,
other people have to have it before they'll fill them up. They have to
yeah, so
have them inspected.
if you have like an outside standing tank, and then if you have an inside one, like in your basement, where they can physically see it, but that's what that inspector was applying to me, is he said, if you have a tank in the ground, he goes, he basically said they're going to be coming for those next. So, yeah.
And I think the inspection's good for like 3 or 4 years because we had to have ours done too. And I think they said 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Unless you move. And then they have to re-inspect it before they fill it. So
Yep.
mine was inspected like 3 times this year.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah.
It's just a pressure test.
I don't know what they do.
No, they look at all over.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do this and do.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, like mine it's been there since the house was built in the 40s, so was pretty pitted. It needs to be replaced, but they're going to make me pour a foundation, even though it's sitting on a concrete. It's so, but you know, again, not to detract from how this applies to the school. I just, you know, this could be something that comes up in the future where we have to get this out and have it a plan, and you know, I can imagine what that cost is going to be, but no, but yeah, and you, so that 5-year plan, is that's updated, is that something that you can share?
Well, we had discussed having this part of the packet for every monthly meeting,
Okay,
you know, so
that's
it'll
right, you
be,
told me that,
it'll
sorry.
be up to that month anyway.
All right. All right, any other discussion on the facility committee? Okay. All right, moving on to legislative activity. So this was something that I just wanted to toss on here just for, I guess, a general board discussion as the legislature moves through basically a lot of map discussion, but there's also other bills that are passing through that, you know, if the board wanted to bring those up and have a discussion on them, but I don't know if anyone's also seen the newest maps from the House and Senate Ed. And, you know, I think that, you know, with crossover coming and they have to move stuff through, it might be good for us to have at least some kind of conversation on what people think on any of their stuff, really, because I know once that component is done, then the rest of Act 73 kind of moves forward. But you know, and if you guys didn't know, you know, I through the Rural School Community Alliance, I had an opportunity to testify to the Senate Ed on the House Ed's map. And I didn't think about sharing it, but I can, it's online. But you know, I think that following that, looking at the Senate Ed's map, it has SUs in it at least. So I don't know if anyone wants to weigh in on thoughts on any of these maps, but I mean, I suspect, you know, any day we'll see something new, but.
Well, the Senate Ed map takes into account choice being maintained somewhat the way it has been historically.
Yep.
Just that House map does not at all.
I, you know, when I also read through the, you know, the change, the, you know, the language changes to it as well. And it incorporates, you know, voluntary mergers, but there's a period for that. I think it's like 2 years or 3 years, which to me seems kind of short. But you know, I will say that, you know, at least we're listening to folks that are testifying, and that's not just, you know, individual boards, but it's also like other organizations like the ICA, but yeah. And has there's also legislation on digital devices in schools. I don't know if anyone's seen that. I don't know where that's going to go or what impact that might have, and then also opting out. So. Okay. That's all I have. Move on to public comments. So it's our second public comment. Laura. You're muted.
Thank you. Let me lower my hand. Let me see if I can get the video to work. If it doesn't, I'll just
Video?
talk.
Camera.
Oh,
Okay, yay. Hi, everybody. Thank you. I'm Laura Darendinger, and I live here in Middletown Springs. I know some of you. So I am here. Thanks for letting me just share a few updates with you. One, I know that I think that a policy hasn't yet been adopted on the phone-free schools yet, if I'm correct. And I just wanted to let you know that myself and others are available to help support that process. We've been doing that with schools across the state and the country. I can tell you that Montpelier High School right now has the strongest
procedure policy that sort of reflects the intent of that bill. So if you want to look at that, that's a good template to look at. The other thing I wanted to share, I emailed some of you, is that North Carolina last summer introduced a balanced technology use in schools resolution. As a school district, they introduced this resolution. And so I emailed that to you, Eric, and if you could share that with everybody, just to maybe read and consider and see if Middletown Springs and Wells wants to do something like that. They implemented this sort of resolution into policy last summer, and this school district has already seen a remarkable grade increase. And again, I'm happy to introduce you to the school board members that did that if you want to talk and learn more about that. But it was interesting to see this past February, they shared with us that their test scores have gone up ever since introducing this resolution. And then lastly, yes, there was a registry bill introduced, H650, and what is being called an opt-out bill, H830. It looks like the registry bill might be moving forward. They're having a hearing tomorrow in the Commerce Committee. And I would like to ask if you all would consider, as a board, writing a letter of support. I can explain to you the gist of it, but I think as we always talk about safety, for carpool pickup, for, safety in schools, playground equipment, this bill is talking about safety, but we're talking about safety of the devices that are put in front of kids at school. So the bill is really, it goes after a very simple concept, which the companies that have marketed their products as educational, marketed as online and digital products into schools, they have never had to be independently vetted to attest that their product is safe for children to use, that it's effective for teaching, or that it complies with existing laws that are on the books to protect children. So that is what this bill fundamentally is asking. We ask every other product to do that we put in front of our kids. So Angela Arsenault is one of the lead sponsors, along with the vice chair of the Commerce Committee. And you can read it if you would like to have a separate meeting or learn more about it or speak to any of the bill sponsors. I'm happy to help facilitate that. Last year, I don't know what the name is, but whatever the school board name is for the Montpelier School District, as a school board, wrote a letter of support for the phone-free school legislation. And that was helpful to really, hear from a school board. So I would like to know if you, as our school board, would consider writing a letter of support for this bill, which is just creating a system to, again, like I said, attest common sense, like we do for everything else, that products are safe, effective, and in compliance with laws. I guess that is the summary, and you guys have been here a long time, so we won't talk more. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Okay. Anyone else wish to speak tonight? All right. Amanda?
Eric, can I add something? Last month we talked about potential for helping people register to vote at the parent-teacher conferences, and those are actually coming up before we meet again. And I didn't know, I'm willing to go to Wells. I didn't know if we could quickly discuss if anybody was willing to go to Middletown to help families do that. In the last MailChimp email is the link to very easily register online, as well as a video of how to register. And we could also just provide paper documentation. Not that we have to complete the process with them, but if we could encourage families and help lead them to how and where to register, I think it would be great if we could do that during conferences. And I didn't know if we could just quickly see if anyone wanted to go to Middletown. It's that first week in April.
So at the informational, and actually to our town informational as well, Patty provided registration applications. And you're looking, I don't know what you can really do more than that, because you can't technically register another person.
Right. So I thought that if I brought an iPad
with the link to register online. And I just kind of like led people to here, said, hey, you can fill it out now, or here's a paper with how to, or here's a printed copy. Like it baffles me how many of our families are not registered. And if every family, hopefully close to every family, is coming in our buildings for conferences, I just think it's silly for us to miss that opportunity to try to encourage them, especially with upcoming things in legislator and especially with upcoming potential consolidation conversations we're having. We want to hear from the people, but we hear from the same ones, and those are the ones that are registered. So I just think if we could get more of them, then we could have better conversations going forward and better voter success rates. So I just thought, if I brought an iPad, brought some paper copies, said you can either, work here and do it now or take this paper copy with you, then at least, and I did provide it in the last MailChimp, but again, not everyone gets that email either. So I don't know, just a thought. I'm happy to go to Wells for as long as I can stay and hang out there. I know they'll have the book fair going on too. But I just can't be in two schools at the same time.
Yeah, I think we've always kind of used the open house and conferences as like, I guess like a community engagement type effort too, to, mainly for the, the email sign up and stuff. But I think it would kind of be similar as Meredith was describing, like, here are the voter registration forms, you fill it out, take it to the, town clerk. I think that's, pretty much all you can do. But and I don't know if walking around with the tablet.
I just figured their kids would be shopping, looking at books, and I could talk to them while their kids shop, and it's kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone wants to sign up for that. When are conferences again?
April 2nd and 3rd.
2nd, 3rd.
Big Friday.
And also, maybe they're just not going to the town hall because it's open while they're at work. So if we at least get them the document, they can more easily take it. Or I don't know. I can't figure out what the reason is, but I know I've said it a couple times. When I had my petition at a basketball game, there was 3 parents out of the entire team that were registered to vote, and that's just crazy.
Okay. So you're gonna go to Wells?
Unless you guys told me not to.
I don't have a problem with it. I guess you're asking if someone wants to go to Middletown Springs, correct?
And what night is Middletown Springs? Is it April
The
1st?
same, April 2nd and
and
April 3rd. Yeah, and the second conferences are until 6 p.m.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And when do you see a lot of parents? Is it just kind of
They
like,
sign up for slots, like a half-hour time slot.
yeah,
So they can come anytime between noon and 6 on Thursday and then noon to 3 on Friday.
so you probably see most of them later in the afternoon, right?
You'd be surprised.
So you
Yeah,
wouldn't
you'd
be surprised. The slots fill up and, yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
I could potentially be there.
okay. Yeah, and I have to look and see what I have going on. And I could potentially be like a backup. Because I don't know how many families are like enrolled in the email thing, but there's always potential, to engage with.
And
folks.
even if we can't be there the whole time, maybe we just, print the copies and say, we're here and there's 2 hours left. Would you mind handing these out to families on the way out? And maybe some of them get them and some of them don't. Like, I don't expect we can be there for everybody both days in both places, but something's better than nothing, I guess.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll move on to future meeting date and agenda items. So future meeting date's going to be the 13th.
And Amanda, you mentioned consolidation of the April meeting. Was that something that was already on the agenda? Or wasn't
Yeah, I
sure?
think we decided that last month that we would discuss it in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes the word consolidation gets mixed up with other words. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering, like.
Not
you know,
school closure.
No, of course not. Yeah, and I'm sorry that came up last time, but I'm just wondering, like, if we were talking our small board, if we were having more of a broader discussion of, by the time our April meeting comes out, I'm sure we'll have more.
Yeah, that was kind of the theme was like, with the legislative activity.
Right,
We really
okay.
don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
And I think we're just kind of got, 1 foot in each.
Right.
Just kind of moving our way through and keeping that discussion open. There's,
As Chris said, he was going to be coming forth with some more information on
Right.
class size requirements. And,
I was just gonna say that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of information in all of this, so. Okay. So any agenda items, any additional agenda items other than what we already have coming up, just reach out to myself and or Chris. With that,
Can we have the control tech update on there just so we don't forget about it? The stuff that Chris was bringing, or
Amanda, I'll place it under finance with Lewis. I've already sent Lewis an
Okay.
email, so he'll have it ready to go.
so we'll have the finance.
Part of
one then.
his.
Okay.
And we could do that under facilities if it's an agenda item.
Sure.
all right. With that concludes our business for tonight. So, Kaylee, would you do the honors and make a motion to adjourn for us?
I make a motion.
That's tradition.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor, adjourning at 7:48, please say aye.
Aye.
Right.